Hey everyone, my name is Casey Rain and welcome back to our series where we bring you all the purple facts, digging deep into each and every album to share the knowledge. Today we're looking at something that was certainly a turning point for Prince, and that was his decision after Lovesexy to get involved for the first time with a major motion picture that wasn't his own project. Of course, we're talking about Batman. It's now of course $1 billion franchise, but back in the 80s superhero movies weren't what they are today. And in fact, there hadn't been a Batman movie in over 20 years when Tim Burton's 1989 project happened, which seems absolutely mind-blowing in today's superhero-heavy film climate. So there was a lot riding on this project. Before we get into this, please subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss future videos. Alright folks, put the keys in the ignition of your Batmobile and let's do this thing. Fact number 1. As we just mentioned, there was a lot riding on the success of this movie. That's why producer Jon Peters looked to pop culture to see what collaborations he could make happen. He'd seen the wild success of Ghostbusters having a big song by Ray Parker Jr. and decided to shoot for the moon. Since Batman is a story about rivalry, and in particular Batman vs. the Joker, Jon Peters went for the two biggest names in the music world. His original idea was that the soundtrack would be by both Prince and Michael Jackson. Prince would sing songs from the part of the Joker, and Michael would sing songs from the part of Batman. Now, before you jump into the comments, let's make one thing very clear here. Some people would have loved to see this happen, and others are happy that it didn't, but I think we can all agree that it would have been huge, an unprecedented event in music history. There's various schools of thought as to why Michael chose not to do it, and the general understanding is that he was too busy with the Bad tour, which is fair, but I also suspect that there was a very short timeline to get this done. And whilst Prince could bash out classic songs on a daily basis and put together a whole album in just a few weeks, Michael didn't work that way, only releasing 2 albums in the decade of the 80s, Thriller and Bad. It's fair to say that Michael preferred to work on albums over a long period of time, whereas Prince preferred to get things done as quickly as possible before he got bored with a concept and wanted to move on to the next one. After it became clear that MJ was not going to be involved, Prince came up with the character of Gemini, half Joker, half Bruce Wayne, and used this character in music videos and some promo shots. However, in the actual credits, it's clear who each song belongs to. The lyrics to The Future and Scandalous are credited to Batman, Electric Chair, Party Man, and Trust are credited to the Joker, Vicky Waiting is credited to Bruce Wayne, Lemon Crushed credited to Vicky Vale, and The Arms of Orion to both Bruce Wayne and Vicky Vale. It's interesting how some of the lyrics are credited to Batman as a character and some to Bruce Wayne as a character. Finally, Batdance attributes different lines to different characters, and one line attributed to Prince himself, which is the line from the song Trust. Fact number 2. You could credit this to Prince being a great character actor in a musical sense, or to him simply being the ultimate ladies' man, or maybe a mix of both. But either way, we can all say that it was entirely expected that after visiting the film set, Prince would end up in a romantic relationship with the film's female lead actress Kim Basinger. And it's this relationship that leads to one of the more odd promotional items in Prince history. After recording an extended 3-part suite version of the song Scandalous, released as the Scandalous Sex Suite, it was promoted with a jar of honey. Why honey? Well, the story goes that engineers came into the studio after Prince and Kim had been recording to find honey all over the recording equipment. I don't think I need to spell out the implications of that. Now, with Prince being Prince, it wouldn't be shocking if this story was true, but it's also possible it was just a planted rumor to light up the tabloids. Either way, having the honey as a promo item was a stroke of pure genius. Prince and Kim Basinger's relationship didn't last too long, with her reportedly finding him too controlling and leaving Minneapolis so abruptly that she left her car at Paisley Park, which Prince apparently then had towed. Yet another version of events has her finding Prince in bed with another woman, which again isn't exactly hard to believe. Kim Basinger has never really spoken too much about this time in her life, so there's a lot of conjecture, but ultimately it's a very fascinating time period. Fact number 3. Another person in Prince's life at that time was the absolutely wonderful Anna Fantastic. We interviewed her for this channel, spending several hours with her at her home, and we're happy to say it's a friendship that has lasted and we still speak to her regularly. She's truly a wonderful person. But one great fact is that the song Vicky Waiting was inspired by Anna and was originally called Anna Waiting, with different lyrics. Although it's never been bootlegged, we were lucky enough to hear the song and it's truly incredible, much longer than what's on the album and with interesting different lyrics. One notable difference is that there are additional vocal harmonies on the chorus, and the second verse begins with "All is well in Lonely Town," a reference to London rather than Gotham City, which it was changed to when the song was reworked for Batman. Fact number 4. Despite being the first single, Batdance was actually the last track recorded for the album. An early configuration of the album is virtually identical to what was released, except it had the track Dance with the Devil on there instead of Batdance. When Batdance was recorded, Dance with the Devil was pulled from the album and remains unreleased, although it has been bootlegged over the years. Interestingly, it seems that recording the first single at the end of a project was a recurring theme for Prince. Both When Doves Cry and Thieves in the Temple, the first singles from Purple Rain and Graffiti Bridge respectively, were the final songs recorded for their respective sessions. Fact number 5. The B-sides for the Batman singles are some of the best B-sides in Prince's entire catalogue, showing that he remained creatively on fire during this time frame. Songs such as 200 Balloons, Feel You Up, Sex, and I Love You in Me were all released as B-sides from Batman-era singles and are rated very highly in Prince's catalogue of work. In fact, Prince had actually submitted 200 Balloons for use in the movie itself, but film producers weren't convinced it worked and ultimately used the song Trust in that scene instead. Fact number 6. The song The Future ended up being the 5th and final single from the album, but it marks the first time in Prince's career that a remix done by another artist was the lead track on a single release. The version of The Future that was released as a single had actually been remixed by William Orbit and Mark Moore from the act S-Express. This was early on in William's career, and he later became very well known for producing for Madonna. William and Mark also did remixes of Electric Chair and Batdance, and their remixes were very popular in the London club scene at the time. The Future as a single was only released in Europe, however, and not other territories. Additionally, there was a promo single released of the song Trust on 12-inch vinyl, but that was only released in Hong Kong. Furthermore, several remixes were done that didn't make the album, including one remix of Batdance which featured rapper Big Daddy Kane. Fact number 7. If you have the CD single of The Arms of Orion, you could try putting it into a computer and seeing what happens. Some versions of the single have a very early experiment into using the .cdi file format, which played a slideshow of pictures and poems set to the song. However, Prince had no personal involvement with this, but it was a very early experiment by Warner Brothers into using that technology, which would become commonplace in the 90s with many CD singles. Fact number 8. You might recall that the song Party Man plays in the movie during the scene where the Joker traps Vicky Vale. However, Prince had originally submitted the song Raven to the Joy Fantastic for this scene, which ultimately got replaced. Raven to the Joy Fantastic was another song inspired by Anna Fantastic, who Prince originally wanted to name Joy Fantastic, but Anna insisted on keeping her own first name. The song remained unreleased for another decade, until Prince pulled it back out of the vault in 1999 and decided to use it as the title track for a brand new album. Another interesting fact about Party Man is that various mixes of the song include vocals from 4 different women that Prince was involved with around that time: Kim Basinger, Anna Fantastic, Elisa Fiorillo, and Jana Anderson. Batman would prove to be the first and last time that Prince put together an entire soundtrack album for a movie that wasn't his own. In a reversal of events from Under the Cherry Moon and the later Graffiti Bridge, the movie was a critical and commercial success, but the reaction to the soundtrack album was mixed, with critics referring to it as a mixed bag and containing some throwaway songs. We feel this appraisal was unfair, and that the Batman album has stood the test of time. But what about you? How do you feel about the Batman soundtrack, and what's your favourite song? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and we'll catch you next time for more Purple Facts. Peace, and be wild.
Hi, I'm Elisa Fiorillo, and you're watching The Violet Reality on YouTube. All things Prince!